Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. It's always sad to hear a good boss has gone bad, but sometimes it happens. So after a short pause, we'll tell you how our OP found himself in a similar situation. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. I'm only here to clean? Okay. My boss is a generally nice and caring individual. She's always seemed to have all of our best intentions in mind, and we've always felt as though we could go to her for anything. That is until recently. She's been so cranky and accusatory to everyone, but especially those that she doesn't currently favor. Yes, my boss apparently picks favorites. This was news to me after years of working for her. I never knew or noticed before these past couple of months, but now I'm seeing her in a whole new light. She won't punish her favorite, even if they mess up multiple times in major ways, but will punish anyone else if they step even slightly out of line. It's BS to say the least, and we're all done with it. The other day, I was in the back helping one of my coworkers with something and was back there for a little while. We had two other people up front manning the front desk, so it should have been fine. It was a Saturday, and we were busy, but not that busy. We rarely need all three of us up front anyway. When my manager scheduled me for the Saturday shift, she specifically told me that part of my job was to go back and help that one coworker if she needed it. Well, she needed it, so I went back to help. One of my other coworkers must have mentioned that I was back there to my boss because a few minutes later, my boss comes back and starts berating me for being back there. She says she's heard that I've spent 3+ hours back there every Saturday helping my coworker. Not even close. I spend maybe half an hour with her, and if I need to spend longer, I'll check up front first to see if the other coworkers are okay. She says my coworker has a dedicated helper and that I need to spend my time cleaning because that's all you're here for. For reference, my coworker's dedicated helper is useless. They're worse than having no help at all. So as someone who values my coworker, I go back and assist them whenever they need it because I know that their helper won't. This, coupled with the fact that the manager told me to do this and the exaggeration of how much time I spend in the back, angered me and my coworker that I was helping. Then my boss just had to make it worse. I told her privately in a note everything that the helper wasn't doing. I told her how frustrated we all were and how I was just trying to help my coworker like I was supposed to. I told her in excruciating detail how much my coworker needed a better helper and how I was going to continue helping her until my boss found one. My boss lost it. She got so angry and yelled at me. It's the first time in 5 years that she's ever gotten upset at me. She accused me of being a coward and that I needed to grow up. She said I basically told her F you with my letter, which was not my intent at all. She wouldn't listen to anyone who tried to back me up and confirm what I'd said. She attacked everyone, enough to make my poor coworker run out of the room in tears and take a personal day because of how upset she was at the way my boss was treating us. By treating me and multiple other coworkers this way more than once, my boss has now created an environment of solidarity between her employees to not do anything extra for the business. We all used to go above and beyond for her, but not anymore. Things are not getting done now, and my boss can't figure out why. She snaps at us about it, and we try to tell her, but she won't listen, so we don't try to change it. I'm only there to clean on Saturdays, boss? Okay, my coworkers will be just fine without me, apparently. I used to stay late, update the website, I'm the only one who did, do extra paperwork, etc., but not anymore. I come in, I clean for the entire second half of my shift, and I leave. Nothing more. Nothing less. And our second story. I bet it wasn't as funny as she thought. So a couple of years ago, I was drinking at a club. I went and hung out with people I knew for the most part, but a lot of my friends would go dance, and I get social anxiety and don't like being all up in that crap. So while all my friends are dancing, I go to the bar and order a bottle of Miller Lite, and I'm bullcrapping with a group of guys I just happened to be standing by at the bar. Out of nowhere, one of their friends, who was pretty drunk, walked up and tried to fight me for no reason. He got kicked out, and that was that. But it was still annoying, and it kind of set me off. So after that, I'm walking around trying to find people from my group, and as I'm walking through the hordes of people, this really good-looking girl is smiling at me and giving me a lot of attention. She was standing in a group right along the pathway, so I'm bound to pass her. She was way out of my league, so I was like, WTF, but I didn't think nothing of it. And as I'm passing her, I nod and raise my beer as a half wave or something. That's when she did it. She clanked the top of my bottle with hers, creating an eruption of my $4 Miller Lite. I get it. It can be funny to do that to a friend when you're outside drinking or whatever, but I'm in an effing bar, and that mother effer cost half a six-pack, plus I probably look like a jackwagon to anyone who didn't see her do it. I came to the sudden realization she was only being nice and smiling at me to set me up for that crap. I was already PO'd about dude trying to fight me for no reason, and what she did really just sealed the deal. She and all her friends start to laugh real hard, and I don't know what came over me, but I capped my beer with my thumb like a garden hose and started spraying that bee right in the face. She began to say what I believe was going to be, "What the F?" but couldn't finish her sentence before she was overcome by the fountain of beer spraying her directly in the face. My beer was basically full before the interaction started and was completely empty by the time I was walking off. I know I sprayed enough beer on her to ruin whatever shirt she was wearing for the night. Yeah, I could have just threw my beer away and walked off, but by God, it really revitalized my spirit for the rest of the night, and it felt like less of a waste of my $4 beer. Good for you. She deserved the instant karma/beer bath. And our last story. Entitled lady tries to take my stuff after trespassing on private property. So this happened last year. So to set the scene, I live in a very small beach town in North Carolina. We get a crazy amount of tourists in the summer months, but not quite as much as Myrtle Beach, a large city in South Carolina, one of the most popular on the East Coast outside of Florida. We get our fair share of naive tourists, and during my time as a lifeguard, I probably got asked 3,000 questions about sharks or jellyfish or stingrays in a day. Instead of saving people from the water, I spent most of my time telling people to stay off the dunes or telling people not to swim up to boats. So anyway, the cast composed of myself, a naive entitled tourist, and her naive entitled son. So anyway, I saw that there was supposed to be some excellent surf one day and decided to head to the beach for a little shredding action. My beach access is part of a private neighborhood and is paid for by my HOA, which means that it's private property. Once I get up to it, I see a middle-aged woman and her son, maybe 6 or 7, standing at the gate holding floats. I think, great, I have a little arguing to do because people are supposed to stay off unless they pay taxes for it to be maintained. I walk up and the convo goes a little like this. EM, hey, what's the code for this beach access? Me, well, it's private access. Are you visiting? I haven't seen your face around here. Where are you staying? EM points at a house that isn't part of the HOA. It was developed after my neighborhood was. Me, oh, that house is part of a different neighborhood. That one uses a public access. See where the sidewalk is? EM, oh, come on, it's right across the street. Just tell us the code. Me, no ma'am. This access is paid for by our own taxes. There's a public access literally 50 feet to the left with no code. EM, no, I demand you let me and my son through or I'll call the police. Me, go ahead. In the meantime, I'm going to use the public access. If you care to join me on the beach, then you can follow me on that access. I left her and her son red-faced like that and walked to the public access. About 10 minutes go by and I kind of forget about the pair. I'm putting wax on my board and waiting for my friend to show up in the meantime. I turn away from my board to head down and look at the water and look for a good spot or a rip current, and lo and behold, I see the kid trying to lift my board and his mom grinning at him. Keep in mind, my board is a 9-foot beast that has to weigh at least 50 pounds. My dad got it in Maui 20 years ago from a custom board store that's no longer open, and it cost at least $700 or $800. I run back up to the pair, and my usually good nature was out the window. Me, hey lady, get the F off my stuff. EM, how dare you speak to me like that? Me, I'll speak to you however I want. Tell your son to stop grabbing my stuff. At this point, he had it fins up and was sitting on it, which is a massive no-no for surfing, It curves upward, so if you put too much weight on it, it might snap. I yank it out from under him, and he fell forward into the sand. EM, get away from my son. I'm going to sue you until you need to file for bankruptcy. Me, what the hell, lady? I'm defending my property. You can't sue me for crap. EM, effing pedo. My baby just wanted to see it. He wasn't hurting anyone. At this point, her son is bawling, and he's screaming something along the lines of, Mommy, he broke my rib. Me, grow up, kid. Lady, don't touch my stuff again or I'll call the police on you. At this point, a lot of people around me are angry at the lady, and I notice my friend has shown up and has a massive grin on his face. When I look away to make a face at him, the lady tries to yank the board out of my hands. I just let it drop. It falls on her, and she buries her butt in the sand. I snatch it back up from her and jerk a thumb at my friend to run for the water. I turn to the kid and say, Don't turn out like your mother. I then turn and run towards the water with my friend and fill him in, and from what we can see from the waves, the lady's getting shamed off the beach by other beachgoers, most of whom knew me and knew I wouldn't fly off the handle unless it was something crazy. Typical Karen response, I'm going to call the police. I'm going to sue you. Good job rescuing your board from them. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.